I want to go over the Baylor women's soccer roster in terms of like a breakdown. The good news is going into this year with the new head coach, they do return Mackenzie Anthony, who is the leading goal scorer from last year. 8 goals on 51 shots. Taylor Moon's back. Only 4 goals last year, but on 50 shots. Elizabeth Koyman's back. 2 goals on 39 shots. Gabby Mueller's back. 2 goals with 24 shots. Maddie Algie is back. 2 goals on 6 shots. Olivia Mack is back. 2 goals on 13 shots. But Mackenzie Anthony had 3 assists. Taylor Moon 2 assists. Elizabeth Corman 5 assists. Gavin Mueller 3 assists. Maddie Algie 2 assists as well. So you return a lot of quality. But you know what's even better is they got one of the leading goal scorers from Dallas Baptist from last year, and Ashley Merrill. She was really, really good last year. She started all 24 games, 15 goals on 74 shots with 3 assists, including 9 game winners. She led that team to get to the Final Four last year in the Division II level. Another player is Jenna Patterson, who is also from Dallas Baptist. And Jenna Patterson played in 21 games and started 20 of those, 6 goals, 51 shots, 2 assists, including 1 game winner. So having those two helps a lot. Especially they need depth. I mean, yeah, and Ashley Merrill is a 5'7" midfielder, while Jenna Patterson, she's a senior this year, 5'4" forward, but she technically has 1 more year of eligibility, I believe. I believe she does because of the COVID year, which they they allow that at Division II level. And Ashley Merrill is a junior this year as well. She's 5'7" defender. They did also bring in another transfer from Dallas Baptist and Blythe Obar, who is 5'7" defender. And I know she didn't score, but she played in a lot of games last year. All 24 games. She had a goal on 8 shots and 2 assists. So they got the quality from those 3, and that's huge. And I know she didn't play. I mean, she didn't score a lot, but she was one of the reasons why Dallas Baptist didn't allow that many goals. And I do know Baylor women's soccer this year will be without Jennifer Wong for the first time since 2016. One of the best goalies ever in the program history. But I have confidence. They still had a transfer, Listen Navarrete from Georgetown still, so she could fill that role, and she started a year before she came to Baylor last year at Georgetown. So I'm not really concerned at all about that position. Yeah, Blythe Obar played. I started all 24 games last year. They also did bring in a transfer, a goalie at Madison Martin. She's a junior this year. She's a 5'5" goalie, and Micah Beasley is a defender, but she didn't play last year at Auburn. Granted, I know she didn't play. So, but she's a midfielder, 5'3" midfielder. I do know Baylor women's soccer not only lost their starting goalie, but they also lost a midfielder and at least one player and one defender as well as a starter. They did lose another player who came off the bench at midfielder as well. And I also know they lost a player to Virginia in the transfer portal in the offseason. But this is a 34 or 35 player roster, and I know some of them are injured right now. So I'm not worried about the offense based on what the returners are and the quality transfers from Dallas Baptist. And I know Division Two is not the same as Division One, but it's more competitive than Division One. But Division Two is still competitive. It's just not as competitive. So, and that's huge. And Kaylee Abels is back, and she could very well be a forward as well, not just as a defender. So they have enough depth. It's just, it's going to be interesting how they do in year one. With the new system offensively, you got to get used to. And it's a different coaching staff, too. And I know the schedule is not going to be the easiest. By any means, it's not. It's one of the hardest ones in the country. So we'll wait and see how they do this year. But I have confidence in the coaching staff. They're recruiting really good right now. So the good news is they have depth. It's just you got to stay healthy. I know that's an easy thing to say for every team. They do have the depth, though, so it's not that big of an issue. It's just you don't want so many injuries to be so limited. And in the spring, they were limited due to players graduating and injuries. So, and the good news is they have a lot of depth, like I said. So, it's unlimited substitution as well in the college level. Keep that in mind. Of course, goalie, once you take up, you usually don't sub that, but any other position, you could see that happening. So that's some good news for the team going to this year. It's the matter of how are they going to gel in chemistry together, as well as getting used to a new system on offense and a new style of play as well. Not just because the defense is still going to be there, I think, potentially. And keep in mind, last year they finished third in the Big 12, so it's not like terrible, but they could have done more favors for themselves if they would have won more games instead of getting so many ties and some losses that are like bad losses, like for example, like in Oklahoma, one of the worst teams in the Big 12 last year. Kansas, one of the worst teams in the Big 12 last year as well. But they also did defeat a quality TCU team that made it far in the NCAA tournament last year. They also defeated SMU at home, and that was an NCAA tournament team last year. Besides tying with Wisconsin and Texas. But in order to make the NCAA tournament, they have to have more wins this year. I could assure you of that. And not only that, they need the conference as a whole to be a lot better this year. Because only last year, just the top two teams in Big 12, TCU and Texas, everyone else stayed home. Including West Virginia. That was the first full season that they haven't made the NCAA tournament since, like around 64 cents, since the first year for that head coach at West Virginia. That's mind-boggling. Of course, in 2020, they didn't make it, but I'm not considering that year because that was a shortened season. And it was in the spring, and only 32 teams were allowed in, so. And they finished 8-5-6, which is not a bad record, but they have to be better on the road. They were 4-3-2 last year. So, I think they have to improve on the road because at home, combined, they were 4-1-4. Granted, you need more wins instead of so many ties. That's the only thing I could see the problem. That lone loss was to Nebraska, who did not even make the NCAA tournament last year. So, we'll see what happens this year. Anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. I see you guys later. It's going to be 400 subscribers and more by the end of this year.